Hello everyone, Rishi again here. Um, Today I'll be making a video to how to create your Express Entry profile. But before we speak or I discuss anything about it, let me talk a little about what you see at the background. You see something? I hope the visuals are clear. I'm here right in the center of downtown Toronto. What you see at the background, that is George Brown College. This side, it is Lake Ontario. It is as big as an ocean. I mean, if I don't tell you it's a lake, it'll feel like an ocean. And let us go a little bit this side. Okay, one of the reasons maybe why my channel's name is City Lights. I love this view. Again, this is downtown Toronto, and these are the top banks of Canada. TD Bank, BMO, Scotia Bank. Most likely, once you are in Canada, you will have a bank account with one of these. Okay, anyways, enough of that. So I'll leave you with this background, and I'll speak about what I'm going to do in this particular video. We will learn how to create an Express Entry profile. So I'll divide this process into two steps. Step 1 will be checking your eligibility for Express Entry, and step 2 would be creation of your Express Entry profile. In the first step, when we check the eligibility, if you are eligible when you provide all your details, system comes back with a response that yes, you are eligible, and if you are eligible, system will generate a reference number, and this is the reference number that we use when you create your Express Entry profile. And so the reason that why we will have step 1, I mean part 1 and part 2. So I'll start with part 1, and that is checking your eligibility. I hope the view is excellent, right? So we will start with the first step, and that is checking the eligibility. Checking eligibility for your Express Entry. So Express Entry profile, you type that, and these are the first few links that you get. Submit an Express Entry profile. Clicking here, submit an Express Entry profile online form. So here you will find some details. It's an important page. Go through the details. It will be helpful. It speaks about something. This tool gives you a number at the end, that is personal reference code. This number, personal reference code, is a prerequisite when you create your Express Entry profile. So this is the first step. Find out if you are eligible. Click on this. Find out if you are eligible to apply. Check your eligibility. Okay, so this is the first question. It starts here. Which province or territory do you plan to live? If you do not know yet, choose the province or territory you are most interested in and required. So this is a mandatory question. You will have to answer it. And yes, you may not know that which province you want to go, but then being mandatory, and it says it's okay if you are not sure, but still you have to give some information here. So I'm putting here Ontario. Toronto comes in Ontario, and so comes Ottawa. It's a pretty popular and maybe the most popular and populous province. I'm using Ontario. Next, Canada's official language, English or French. You need to submit a language test results for all programs under. Which language test did you take for your first official language? So see again, I'll say to create your Express Entry profile, you will have to have appeared for your IELTS exam, because there will be certain details which you will have to fill up. The IELTS exam details, which you cannot fill unless you haven't given the exam. So these are the, I mean, IELTS, it's not necessary that you have to appear for IELTS. There are other options as well, TEF, TCF, CELPEP, but IELTS being the most common and most popular, I'll go with IELTS. I appeared for IELTS. Next, what date did you take this test? So it has to be a past date. So let's say 2019, and let's say October 10th, you appeared for the exam. Next, and then it asks, enter your test score for speaking, listening, reading, writing. As I told you in my previous video, that the score that you really need to get up to be a candidate for PR is 777 and 8. So even if your score is less than that, still you will You can be an eligible candidate, but then honestly speaking, chances of you getting a PR would be almost negligible if your score is not at least 777 8. So it is the listening where you need to have a score of 8, and other sections it is 7. So if it is greater than this, it's perfectly good. If it is less than this is a problem. So just again an information here, 7877, this is the score you need. So it's not that say here you got a score of 9 and here you have a score of 6.5. So it's not about your average score, it's about this minimum score in individual sections. So this won't do any good. If you have scored this, your overall CRS score will be badly affected because you have not scored 7 band in reading. So it has to be individual score in each of the section, not the average score. So let me make it 7. So 7877. Do you have other language results? It could be, but for me it's none. I'm taking the case of none. In the last 3 years, how many years of skilled work experience do you have in Canada? So most of us would have no experience in Canada, making it none. And then it says that if you do not, okay, then it is asking about the NOC code of the work that you did, but since we are saying no experience, so this becomes none of the above. It's asking about the NOC code of the work that you were doing in Canada. Next, then it says in the last 10 years, how many years of skilled work experience do you have? So it is not about Canada, it is in general. So wheresoever you are, you were in India, China, Africa, anyway, it must have contained, okay, point to be noted, it must be continuous, paid, full-time or an equal amount in part-time and in only one occupation. I repeat, only one occupation. This is important. So it's not if that you have switched from one company to another, that's okay. As long as, I'm taking an example of software engineer. As long as you were a software engineer, it's fine. As long as you were a medical practitioner, it is fine. But what won't work is that first year you worked in retail, second year you worked, let's say, as an Uber driver, third year you worked as a software engineer, let's say that's your case. So this won't be counted as 3 years. It has to be the total experience in any one profession. So let's say it is taking, say, 4 to 5 years of experience you had. And then it asks, in the last 5 years, do you have at least 2 years of experience in one of these types of jobs, skill trades? And it says that trades where NOC codes start with 7273, 8292, or 632. NOC codes. So what are these NOC codes? I'll talk about this in detail in some other video, not here, but here I'll give you a quick information that what it is talking about. So let's go into find your NOC code. Find your NOC code. So it says that NOC stands for National Occupational Classification. So it has divided all the trades or occupations into a few types. Skill type 0, skill type A, type B, type C, and type D. Type 0 is what? Managers, like restaurant manager, mine manager, show manager. Level A, doctor, dentist, architecture, and it says professional jobs that usually call for a degree from a university. And these are examples. There are many other jobs within each of these levels. So in level A, there will be tens of jobs. Level B, again, tens of jobs. These are just examples. Level B is chef, plumber, electrician. So what is important here is that if you want to come to Canada as a skilled immigrant, then you must belong to either type 0, level A, or level B to use express entry. So out of these 5, 0, A, B, C, and D, you can avail the express entry profile channel to immigrate to Canada only if you belong to one of these 3 job codes, 0, A, or B. If you fall into C or D, then express entry is not for you. But then if your job is C and D, but then there are other alternatives and you can find the details here. Okay, coming on here. And then what NOC code you need to fill, you can find the details of NOC codes here. So here you can see the NOC codes, and here you can find on the right hand side skill level or type 0, A, B, C, whatever it is. So taking an example that let's say you are a software engineer. So you can see that there are 50 pages here. So you cannot go through each NOC code. So let's type a generic thing. So you are into IT, you are related to something around software. So let's type software. Okay, so here you see some of the professions. These are very similar sounding and could be confusing. So take hint from everything that you see. So if you are a software engineer, as we have seen the definition of these skill types, so certainly B is not applicable to you. 0, we could say it was a restaurant manager and all that. So this again may not be applicable for you. So A. So these 4 could be one of your, so your NOC code could be one of these 4. 2147, 2171, 2173, 2174. Again, these, if you go into the details of these NOC codes, they will sound very similar. For example, 717374 will sound very similar. I'll go into the details of these in some other video, that how to choose the right one. But for now, I'm picking up, let's say this one, 2173, software engineers and designers. So NOC code is 2173. So here the question is, does your NOC code starts with 72, 73, 8282? So answer is no, because our NOC code starts with 21. And therefore, answer is none. Next. How much money in Canadian dollars will you bring to Canada? So it says if it is less than this number, not enough settlement funds. So certainly no. So let me select this 15 to 19,000. Let me tell you something here. If you bring more funds, it does not increase your overall CRS score. So it's not that your chances of immigration or getting a PR would be higher if you are bringing in more money. It makes no difference. It is only an eligibility criteria. That is, yes or no kind of decision is made about based on this information. Either yes or no. It's not that more chances or less chances. So for example, let me select this 15,000 to 19,000. So how many family members? Let's say 2, you and your wife. So this number is including you. So if it is you and your wife, the number has to be 2. So this number may be good for 2 people, but let's say if your family is, if you have 2 kids as well, so if it is 4, then this amount may run short, and it may say at the end that you are running, that insufficient funds, or you're not eligible for express entry. And the reason could be that for 4 people, this amount is not sufficient. So if that is your case, if you get a result that you are not eligible, then try to increase this amount. And if the family members are more. So in my case, I'm taking example of 2 family members, and I'm using this number 15,000 to 19,000. Next. Do you have a valid job offer in Canada? If you have one, then consider that you are getting a PR, but then most of us won't have. Do you have a valid job offer in Canada? No. What is your date of birth? What is your date of birth? How would I know? But let me say 1990. That was humorous me. If you did not earn a Canadian degree, diploma, okay, next thing is, what is the highest level of education you have earned? So maybe you were a student in Canada and you have earned a Canadian degree, diploma, certificate, or maybe you have no relationship with Canada as of today. So in that case, it says that wheresoever you have studied, India, China, or any other place, most of the immigrants come from India and China. So I often take example of that. I'm an Indian. So it says that whatever degrees you hold, get them evaluated. So it is Educational Credential Assessment, ECA. So there are certain approved agencies who can do this ECA for you. I'll talk in some other video what ECA and how to get ECA done. But for now, let's assume that if you have done masters, then even by ECA agencies, it says that yes, you are masters. So let me write here Masters. Certificate, you may need to have a foreign education credentials. Okay, this is what it says. Okay, find out if you are eligible to apply. So then it's asking something more. Check all that apply. I have studied full-time in Canada. No, I have not. I have at least 2 years of full-time work experience in Canada. No. I have a relative. I don't have any relative in Canada. None of the above. Marital status, married. Does your spouse or partner plan to come with you Canada? Yes, of course. Is your partner or a citizen or PR of Canada? No. Has your spouse or partner studied in Canada? No. Has your spouse or partner worked in Canada? No. So many no's, but still we have a chance that we may still be eligible. Has your spouse or partner taken an English or a French language test? So, depending on your case, yes or no, but even if your partner has not appeared, still you could be eligible. So I'm taking that case that no, let's say the partner has not given any language test. And see yet your results. To apply online, you will need this personal reference number. So this number is generated, which means that based on the details you have provided, yes, you are eligible. Based on your answers, you appear to be eligible for express entry. And print this page, register to a key, log in to your account if you are a returning user. So now it tells you, now it says that yes, you are eligible, this is your reference number, and then these are the steps that you need to follow. Step 6 to 7. Okay, so this is a good start. So we just saw how to check the eligibility, and at the end of it, a reference number was generated. So this is the reference number that we will be using in our part 2 where we create the Express Entry profile. So I believe this is the end of my part 1 of Express Entry profile creation. If you have any questions, do let me know. If there are too many common questions, maybe I'll make a video. If not, then at least I'll answer your questions. Thanks so much for watching the video.